What a deck. This deck's gonna have to go down at some point, and I'm wondering, it could be a sad moment, couldn't it? If I take it down now before I leave. Am I gonna be emotional? Are we gonna get emotional about this? And then I can put the wood away into the garage so it doesn't rot so much in the winter. What a deck. As decks go, it's been a good one, hasn't it? It's been good. I'm not going to take it down tonight, but I do think it's my gut feel is I'm going to have to take it down before I leave this time. Cue sad music. But it was quite weird. I was in the bathroom. It was like one of those. It was like that scene in Indiana Jones, you know, where the sun comes around and it perfectly lines up with that thing, and it shows where the treasure is. Well, it was the opposite here. It showed where the problems were. I sat in the bathroom, looking around, and there was a beam of light coming from the roof. Highlights a problem. There just start to appear some sort of. I mean, there's cobwebs everywhere. But those cobwebs aren't a bad thing in these situations, because they give you a sign of, like, if something's blowing in, some dust coming in, some leaves or some, you know, the cobwebs show you where there's a problem. This one may be tricky to film safely, so safety first and all that, but I'll do my best. Alright, this gives you a good view of it all. You can see this needs doing properly, really. I probably need to go and buy another 20, 30, maybe 40 other tiles to fill the gaps where they're missing, or replace some broken ones. Alright, anyway, we'll fix it, but the roof's really good. I gotta be honest, it's really good, really lucky. I think I'm speaking to the people who have quotes for roofs, and they range from, say, 10 grand to 50 grand. My re-roof, which is fully insulated, redone, I think came out at 44,000. It's all in euros. I can't afford to do that. It's not like plaster on a dam, but I think if I just keep going with it and keep an eye on it, in time I'll do it properly, but I'm gonna have to do it in phases. I suppose I should get on the roof. I've got the structure now, the beam, the platform to climb up properly, but I could do with having somebody here when I do that, just in case. You never know, do you? Alright, anyway, I'll put this camera down and see if I can show you what I'm doing. Otherwise I'll have to get the drone out, I think. It's a beautiful day. Good day. It's always a good day to get the drone out. Everyone loves the drone shots. So maybe that's it, eh? Less of me, more drone. Is clearly where my problem is. There's a big gap there. It's like now I've moved them around. Yeah, this is. I need to get up on the roof, really. Now I've looked at this. I'm not feeling getting up on the roof today, so I just do what I can from the ladder. What I think has happened is on this corner here, the prevailing wind is this way. So that tree does all right, but I guess the wind must whip around. And all those tiles on the edges, they've just moved slightly. So it's not bad. You know, now I'm in the position to plant better. Now I know all this. You know, do I disrupt the wind with some strategic planting so the prevailing wind then doesn't whip around and hit the corner of the house so much? Yeah, so on reflection, I've had 2 full winters here, and you know, the problem's tiny, and I think that might solve it actually, just moving those few over. It seemed that when they blown, there was quite a large gap. I'm not going to get up there this year, I don't think. I'll leave it for the winter now. And then next year, when I've got somebody down here to help me out, I'll just go and buy 40 or 50 restored or reclaimed tiles and get them ready for next year. Alright, so this weather's definitely changed from last week sunbathing to I need a few layers on now. It's not freezing, but it's definitely dropped. Good time for me to get organised. I haven't filmed much of this, but this is one of those does it fit moments again. So this one is, does it drag? I don't want to take this apart. It's real awkward to build. I've got to get it across there, across the gravel, down the hill, around the corner. What's the chances? Slim, I reckon. Anyway, let's see what happens. It'll fit, I reckon. Head height could be an issue. Oh, we're in like a glove. Don't know what all the fuss was about. That went in so easy. Maybe I am getting better at this thing. Alright, here's a genuine question that I'm trying to research, and there's time between probably when this goes out and actually do the work. This water tank here still works. My plan is to put it under the kitchen sink because, I mean, at the moment I have to traipse all the way through the house down to the bathroom, get the hot water from the bathroom and bring it all the way back through the house to the kitchen. Oh, it's still got power going to it. I was just going to pull it straight. Oops. So if I put this under the kitchen sink, it'll enable me not to put the hot water on so often. So my question, which I'm trying to research, is does this then need a pump to go from under the sink to get through the tap, or is it going to be enough with the existing water pressure that's going through it? I'm researching new ones that seem to be designed to go under the sink, but they're not crystal clear whether they've got a pump or not, or they're just small. So it'll save me €100 or so. I'm going to try and repurpose this. I'm not going to get a dishwasher in. I'll leave space in for the future, but I'm not going to put one in. I don't mind doing the dishes. So this here is actually going through and down and into the kitchen dining area thing, and off the back of that I'm running my workstation and PC and whatnot. So I don't want to disrupt that route because I'm not ready to rewire that bit. So I'm just going to try and pull this piece out without changing that. Alright, so all I've done is cut this, which is the feed to the tank, and then I've taken some of the wires out that were straggly, and anything else I've sort of masked up so there's no arcing or anything to get away. Line up the thingamabobs. Should have my glasses on, and should have another screwdriver saving me getting up and down. Power back on now, and then let's see, power's going through it, but the switch will be redundant. Obviously, it's not connected. It's probably not a bad time to cover the wiring. So this is the box that goes up to the grid, and it's all digital, so I never have to send off any meter readings. I just pick them up, and then my wiring is this. It's not even separate. It's just on or off, and obviously this one goes that way, that one goes that way. That's how simple this wiring is. I'll figure that out another day. It works, it's safe, and yeah, we'll cover wiring another time, don't worry about that. Alright, water's starting to drip. Could be water coming back down, I assume. Yeah, I think if it was a problem, this would be gushing now, wouldn't it? Alright, that's good news, I think, because that's like the mains part coming through. So there's no water coming through the mains part, which means I can tap all that off. Well, that's all still draining off. Border on sunbathing weather. Lunch in the sunshine soon, I think. Right, I've just pulled it off the wall and it's all dripped out, but at the end, some horrible brown water came through. So it sounds like there's sediment in the bottom. Like, I don't know if you can hear this. I don't know if that's going to be unusable, or is there a way to clean that out? That's not good, is it? It's just been sat there too long, probably. Oh well. Alright, sitting down now after a nice light lunch and reflecting on that water tank thing. It's too old, I think, to try and upscale it, upcycle it. As nice as upcycling is, I think that's probably too much. So when I have my VIP guests stay, you don't want them to think there's dirty water coming through the kitchen. Anyway, but the pump question still stands. I think I found one or two things online that's an under the sink tank. I don't need much, it's just to fill up a couple of washing up bowls, isn't it really? So it's not a huge thing. But does that need a pump? Anyway. Plenty to do, so I'll have to set my alarm in case I fall asleep. Take a while, I think. Well, that's taking quite a while to do because it's an important job and it's quite fiddly. But I think I could do that at night time actually under a good light. So whilst it's beautiful outside and sunny, I think I'm going to do some stuff out there. It gets dark early now. I need to pop to the bank. So it's a bit chilly. That's a good time to, what should we go with? It's quite good into the pulse. It's quite nice to get a bit of fresh air. I've been sat around most of the day. So as crazy as it sounds, going out in the dark and the cold, bike's well lit up. Got gloves. So I'll pop up the village and go to the cash point. Didn't take long. Oh, that's really good fun. This bike is definitely getting me out more. It's just popping up the village is fun now. Oh, it's pitch black out there, but you go through the back lanes, don't pass one car, and the lights. Oh, the light's really good. So yeah, I'm well impressed. It won't ever replace the road bike, but it's good. It's really surprised me. Anyway. I don't know if I bought the wrong things or I just bought the cheaper ones, but these little hooks that go in to make sure this, what's it called? You know, this stuff. Put this over the wood so then that the scrim and the plaster will stick to it. They're not, they're slightly open, so they're a bugger to nail in. So I've got to sit here and bend them all straight before I hammer them in. And then if you go too far, they won't go in again. So they're either too open or too closed. So like I said, did I buy the wrong ones? I don't know. Wouldn't mind, it's just quite chilly, that's all. Anyway, there's no rush now, now the sun's gone down. Got a weekend at it. Nail gun, I can hear you typing it now. Rich, get a nail gun. Yep, get a nail gun. I love more tools. Alright, drainage. So now I'm planting some of the trees at the top and I'm going to leave it for winter. Drainage is important obviously, and whilst we sort of had a, This is done on a budget, should we say. So, not we cut a corner, but instead it is really important about the rains coming off the hill, so they just don't ruin all of this, and it all becomes a waste of money pretty quick. So field-wise, as in the top piece, Dennis is going to come back and I think he's going to till the field for the winter and put 2, maybe 3 of those really deep troughs through with his tractor. I'll take it right across the top and then down and around the house. He's done that before and it's fine. When I did pay for it to be done a few years ago, that epic fail, that was a total waste of money. I should have just asked Dennis and he did me a favour. So from where the house is, along the house line on the left to the right hand side, the right hand side is lower. So this part nearest the house, this lowest level, everything will land on it and run off. The other good thing, I suppose, that little concrete pavement I've got along the side of the house, it's a teeny little trough, so that actually catches rainwater from the wall and catches it in that trough, and that runs down to a drain at the very bottom. So even the water off the house or anything that splashes over the gutters, that won't land on this mud. Anyway, level 1's good. Level 2 is even more intense then. You can see the angle. The slope goes up, and then there's a ridge line, then there's a gradient away from the house that it'll catch, that will take it away and down the field. So the top piece I'm not too worried about. I think there's one little area which is around that tree that was dug and cleared, but no concern. When it comes down to the bottom, there's 3 tiers. So the top 2 tiers, they'll run away, no problem whatsoever. But the tier that is the house level, where the patio is, that is going to pour away down into this flat area at the bottom that I've got. Now there is a good chance that the lip here will catch it, and then it catches the next lip, and then there's a trough there that takes it away, and then below there's another trough that takes it into the trees. So there's a little bit that might hit here, but this bit isn't too bad. I can cope with that, I reckon. But you know, best laid plans and all that. I'm leaving in a few days and I might not be back for a fair few weeks. You'll see it when I get back, and if it's tears of joy, it's like a success, or oh dear, all that money's just been washed away. Let's hope not, eh? Right, this first wave of planting, I only bought one big, fast-growing, bushy tree. This point here is in line with the trees of the top barn, and it will follow up pretty much in line with the top row of trees I'm going to do with the top level of olive trees. And this then can fill this space, which is the first blocking view from the barn at the top to see where that outside living area is going to be. So I thought it's definitely going to be loads of big trees here, so I might as well get at least one in through winter, give it a chance to bed in, and that'll then give me an idea of where else then I need to start planting some blocker large trees, if that makes sense. One thing you could help me out with, a greenhouse. I'd like to have one here one day. Where's a good spot? Does it need loads of sun? Some shade? Another thing I don't know about. So what do you think, now you've seen more of the land, location for a greenhouse? This is where I should be cracking open a nice bottle of wine or a bottle of beer, but it's early and there's a lot to do on the inside. I still feel like I got a good bit of energy. Like you see, I'm going back soon, so you feel a bit of pressure that you got to get stuff done. It's so easy to sit around, and when it's like this, you could sit around in front of the fire, read the book, and nod off, which is what I really want to do, I'll be honest. This is what I mean when I say you go to a couple of pairs of shoes a day. When it's just after the rain, it gets really boggy. It's been a lovely weekend actually. A couple from England who were watching the channel reached out, said hello, came down on a bit of a house hunting tour, met up with the agent that I worked with before, so that went really well. And yeah, I don't think they found the house they wanted on this trip, but it really opened up their mind to see what they're really looking for. And I spent some time with them. We had a drive around, had a nice lunch. It was great. Lovely weekend. Oh, bought me a lovely bottle of wine. Thanks. So I've been here a few days now and it's starting to settle in as to the scale of the task, and it's not so bad now. I've slept on it and sat in different areas, but I've got to do some rough measurements to figure out how much stuff I need. I mean, if this is going to be like a patio, cheapest, or not so much it's about being cheapest, this thing I could afford is probably the crazy paving, which looks good if it's done properly, but the base layer, all that aggregate that needs to go underneath, I need to work out how much I need, because I think it's going to be a lot. And my challenge is the delivery of it all, because I can't get a huge truck right up to the house. And then the conundrum of, do I get that done now while I'm here, or do I write it off and just attempt it in springtime? Anyway, I gotta measure it, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so each tier is about 3 meters. Back of the house to the bottom tier is 3.5 meters. Side of the house to the first tier is 5 meters. I've been waiting for it to go dark so I can check the height or the level on the outside. So I'm getting the laser out and I've marked where the kitchen floor is. So when the doors are put in, roughly where the floor height will be on the outside, and I want to mark that at the top end of the house and the bottom of the end of the house. It gives me an idea how much I've got to work with, really, to make sure there's a decent slope on the patio for the rain to run off, and then how much aggregate I think I'm going to need to fill it all up and make it level. So I'm sure the laser would have worked well enough in the daylight, but maybe this is a bit more dramatic. I'll have a good look at this in the morning, but that seems quite a lot, quite a big drop.